Hello everyone. Welcome again to a new Star Atlas Townhall. Townhall number 43 right now. It's quite insane how far we've gotten with the Townhalls. I know we're hosting these not so often now, but believe me guys, every time there's a Townhall, it's worth it to tune in. As always, I'm here with my no longer guest, co-host, the one and only Michael Wagner. How are you doing, Michael?
My esteemed colleague Santi. Doing great, man. Really excited for today. We've got
Yeah, super
quite
excited.
the agenda lined up. It's packed. It's packed. We got a lot to cover.
Yeah. It's a lot to cover. I know people are asking for what song we're playing at the end. That's Ape Rave Club Dance Alone. Actually, it's a classic, I think, here, Michael, right?
It's a classic. It's Marlin. It's Bassjackers. Takes me back to geez, here it is starting already. Takes me back to the Rebirth days, man. But yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, how's everyone doing? Let's see in the chat. Actually, let me bring up the chat. I know
There
there's
seems
some
to be
crazy gifts going on
it's a
right now.
really popular one.
Yeah. There's a GIF going a bit viral right now in the chat, but I see everyone doing pretty well. At least you can tell. Oh man. But yeah, guys, as we were saying, and as we shared in the announcements, this is one of the biggest Stoneholds we have ever had. And we'll be updating you basically if this is the first Townhall you join. These are one of the biggest digital events we host at Star Atlas virtual events. And we basically will update you on every single product line we have. And for today's one, we prepared a couple surprises as well. And I don't know how to say it, but can I say one big thing that nobody is expecting, Michael? Would that be a correct definition for that?
For sure. Yeah, you've already probably said too much, but yeah, some
Yeah.
big stuff coming. Stick around until the end.
Yeah, stick around until the end for that one. But yeah, it's going to be packed, guys. Probably well over 2 hours or close to 2 hours. So make sure that you have your coffee, your beer, your water, whatever you're comfortable in your chair. You have a nice spot in your house, and we can get started, Michael. And
As
all
we
yours.
get started, I just want to say this town hall is sponsored by Kirkland Signature 9.5 pH alkaline water. Thank you, Kirkland.
Nice. It's always good to stay hydrated, Michael. Yeah, you know that a good sip of water. That's how we start now.
That's right.
Lots of talking for you today, Michael. So you better be ready. You better be ready. So yeah, guys. As you know, how we want to roll here, we first want to do some quick updates as we do with the brew. So some updates from our end. If you're here in the Stratus Discord, or if you're listening to this from Twitter, because we're also live on X, make sure to join the Stratus Discord and make sure to pick your new favorite pings, whatever you want to get pinged on at the Stratus server. You go to the top of the server and you will see the Choose Pings channel, and make sure to select whatever you want to, whatever updates you want to receive from Star Atlas. We just changed that, so you don't miss anything. Make sure to go there and choose your preferences in there. So that's the first update. Second one, as you can see at the very top of the events list, there's one event that we're hosting. It's a community meetup during Rare Evo in Vegas. The Star Atlas team will be at Rare Evo in Vegas. That's from August 15th to 17th. And me, Michael, and Dom are going. I think also Miguel from our team. So if you guys want to meet with us, we'll be at Vegas and we're hosting a community meetup there. Shout out to Agent Solace and to Sansor for helping organize that. Thank you so much, guys. And you can mark us interested in the event that you can find at the very top of the server, and make sure to register also in the Luma link so we can get you a spot in there. But yeah, we'll get some beers, some drinks. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Highly recommended to attend. Um, on
Hey,
other
just on
news,
that,
yeah,
sorry to
yeah.
cut you off, Santi, but just on
No, no,
that,
no, no.
we do have a booth there. We're going to have 4 gaming stations set up. We have some collaborations going on as well. Shout out to Shaga here. We're going to be doing some D-Pin cloud gaming streaming at the event as well, if all goes well. But should be a good time in August.
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, guys, if you're close to Vegas or if you can make the flight, make sure to go. Make sure to go. We'll also be at Bitcoin Nashville. Actually, Michael will be at Bitcoin Nashville. And closer to the end of the year, we will be at YGG's event in the Philippines. November, I think that is, Michael, right?
Yep. That should be another activation, probably booth space there. We haven't really figured out what we're doing at YGG's conference just yet, but we do intend to have a presence.
Yep. One last thing here from my end is that we have a new quest live for Never Alone, our silly campaign, and the code is Townhall. Just as you see it in the title, without the number 43. Townhall, that's the code. You can go claim your XP now for attending here. So yeah. Now, Michael, I think we can move to some other updates from our end. We can get on some of the new hires that we made since the beginning of the year, right?
Yeah, this is something we haven't covered in a long time. Obviously, working through the market conditions, but we have fortunately been scaling very slowly, very strategically since the beginning of the year. Really starting at the end of last year, we've brought on 11 new full-time hires. We also have 8 short-term or contract hires that we're working with currently. We can kind of get more into that later, but wanted to give a quick shout out to both Nikki and Master Kamote. They're creating content and moderating for the Philippines community. James out of Thailand representing us and helping us circulate information to the Thai community. There you go. Blake and Dane, I mentioned these guys at Crossroads out in Istanbul. They are the 2 level designers that have been doing all of this phenomenal work on the Sagmin district of the Central Space Station. Morton is a senior concept designer. He was actually on the team previously. We're really excited to have him back on the team. Jim is a community member, senior game designer that we brought on. Lucas, Tylo, this is senior full stack engineer. Another hire that I think is really critical, especially as we continue to grow, is Kelly. We just brought her on. Kelly is director. She's security engineering, so making sure everything across the platform and the ecosystem. I have to stop watching the chat, Santi.
No, I don't have the chat open right now, man.
Oh
I don't.
man, yeah. Kelly, excited to bring her on, making sure that everything's buttoned up and secured across all of our platforms and programs. Daniel was just brought in as a game architect, game engineering. One familiar face. I call him the fun killer, Dan Park, in-house general counsel. Welcome back, Dan. It's been an absolute pleasure getting you back on the team. And then finally, just closing out here on the hires, Alexander, or Krot, is a creative designer, and we brought him in specifically to support marketing effort and cinematic production so we can really start to elevate the marketing game as we go into the end of the year. Otherwise, we brought on 8 short-term contractors, concept artists, and they're working with us on crew cards and crew packs right now. So welcome everyone
Nice.
to the team. Yeah, just welcome.
Yeah, man, it's good to change the vibe, how we were a year ago to where we are now, that are able to expand, as you say, Michael, more strategically than how we did before. But it's good to be able to change that mindset and start to focus on things that actually needs us to focus on. So
For
yeah,
sure.
that was good.
Yeah.
That was good. So now, Michael, if you allow me, we can move to the next segment here for the town hall, and that is the Econ Updates. Gareth from our Econ team will be joining us for this segment. And just so you know, guys, we probably know already, but the Star Atlas has a very rich ecosystem with new changes and additions pretty much happening every single month, and with a very fast-paced player-owned economy. So that means that the Star Atlas team, Automata, needs to stay on top of everything that is going on the econ side of things. And one thing that we do for that is produce our quarterly reports. We just launched our second quarter 2024 report. You can find that now on the newsroom. And we'll have Gareth right now with us covering that. so we can see how the ecosystem is evolving. So Gareth, if you can raise your hand so I can let you on stage.
And
Perfect. Welcome.
I'm going to
Yeah.
go off screen here. I just want to say a really warm welcome to Gareth. First time at the town hall. Everyone, give him a warm welcome, round of applause, and Santi, turn it back over
Yeah.
to you and Gareth to take it away.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Gareth, my friend, we had you on stage before, never on a town hall, but it's good to have you in a town hall, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Honored to kick this off with Econ Updates. You guys will notice Dominic now is sharing a little presentation I have prepared for you guys. And we're just going to go through some of the main things I think are the most important in this quarter's Econ Report. Santi already gave you guys a little bit of an intro, but the Econ Report is one of those things that me personally, I find extremely important. We have such a robust ecosystem. I know a lot of you guys are really interested in the numbers. So this is one of those products that tailors to you guys specifically. It can even, if you're new to the ecosystem, it can really get you can dig your teeth into what's been going on in the most recent months since you've joined. So
Yep.
yeah, let's
I
kick
know,
this
Gareth,
off.
you've been cooking some cool stats for the community, so yeah, looking forward to check that out.
Yeah, I mean, whatever the community is doing in game, I see on our back end. So you guys aren't slick. I see everything. But yeah, this first slide that Dom's showing you guys is straight out of the quarterly. This is the gross domestic product. Now we defined this in the previous quarter, and given how important this metric is, both in the real world and within Star Atlas, we thought it'd be important to continue this chart and continue its legacy this quarter and in future reports. So at the moment, we define the GDP as burn MV, so any resource you burn in game, the market value of those resources, plus Galactic Marketplace fees market value. Same concept, any fees that you burn towards your Galactic Marketplace transactions, that is counted. Crafting fees market value, pretty self-explanatory. Atlas fee payer market value, primary sales market value, and that is subtracted by DAO spending. So we're taking the burn approach. We elaborate more on that within the report. So feel free to go take a read if you're interested. And yeah, we can jump straight into some of these numbers. So you'll see the chart below has gray highlights. That is the pre and post period. The period you'll find highlighted in the report is that non-shaded area. But for me, at least, I like seeing longer time period charts. So here you can see the pre-period of Q1 and a little bit of the post-period here since we did our data cutoff. And from Q1 to Q2, we did see a 6.2% GDP growth. Now, this is huge, putting us in a really good spot long-term if we project out from this one single quarter. Obviously, this is our first time taking a month-to-month change. As this progresses, we'll be able to take an average over time and then, have stronger projections and forecasting. But for now, it's a great leap. 6.24% is not a small amount. And that's updated our annual projection to 34 million for this year. So that's a headline figure for you. Star Atlas GDP is 34 million in 2024. So
that's actually massive, especially thinking how young our economy is, right? It's pretty massive.
Exactly, and told this to Dom earlier. He really liked it, but we're on the path to becoming a small island nation relative to the real world. So that's something to take home with you. And for some of you whales potentially in the chat, you'll notice that maybe some of your primary market purchases were not captured here in the spikes that you see, but in fact they actually were. We've smoothed out some of these spikes over multiple days to make the trend more visible. So don't you worry there. All right, let's move over to the next slide here. So the next thing I thought you guys would be really interested in was our transition, our Atlas transition. I know a lot of you guys care about Atlas, and you can obviously read more in the report, but we're going to cover some of the big key points here. So you'll notice I'll actually start with the chart down below. The volatility caused by RFR contributions and score. You guys can learn more about RFRs if you're new, but essentially it was a crafting recipe that allowed you to contribute in-game resources to receive Atlas through marketplace transaction. That you can see reflected in the light blue in the pre-period, trickling into the current period. And that was extremely volatile. We had large claiming days, low claiming days. And while in-game Atlas missions don't necessarily impact anything on the macro side, a lot of people do care about Atlas stability. And we can see that same thing happening with Score, very large claiming days from some of our bigger accumulators. Now, with the new system, loyalty points, we can see that is much more stable, maxing out on the per faction level at 2 million per day. And the trickle off with Score has also prevented some of those larger emission days. So you guys will be happy to know that from now on, there won't be these massive emission days that come as a surprise to some of you guys. Participation change from RFRs to LP has gone up by 300%. So a lot more of you guys are using the LP system compared to RFRs, which is great. Excuse me. And on top of that, of this Atlas claimed, approximately 140% of it is being sunk on the day. So actually, and this is a mean across the period, so obviously some days were below 100%, but all of this Atlas is actually going straight back into a cold area. So whether that's through fees, primary sales, or things of that nature where Atlas is quote unquote locked up. Now for that 140%, we did not include the locker simply because of its variable unlock period. But if we were to include that, we'll see really, heavy locking days. Excuse me. And you can see that full chart in the quarterly report.
Nice, man. I love how it gains more stability at the end, and that means that our emissions are basically being more stable as well on the Atlas side, right? So
no, that's a huge thing. That's why I consider it such an important figure to share with you guys today. But that is not all you can find in the report. This one's 13 pages that consists of trends in certain areas such as faction activity, DAX, which I know a lot of you guys are interested in, price indices, aka CPI, to see the relative change in prices over the period, and stage star based, of course. A lot of output figures, a lot of different activity figures that I know you guys will love to check out, as well as the census, which a lot of you guys who've been around for a while now know has been a legacy figure for us that is dated back all the way to the first or maybe second quarterly report. So you guys will find that updated chart in there as well. You'll be able to find the quarterly at staratlas.com/newsroom/economic reports. And I think Dominic will drop the link in announcements as well.
We're live, baby.
Yeah, it's live right now, so people can go and download this to check it out right now. So yeah.
And one more thing before I jump off here, we do have the monthly economic forum currently going on. That started last month, and we've had our forum this month already. But essentially what that consists of is Chris and I, Chris being the head of the Econ department, go in, give you guys a short presentation on some of the major updates, and then we transition into Q&A. So that's more of a short-term gameplay discussion, short-term Econ discussion that can address things like issues you guys are having or concerns you might have, or maybe just theory crafting towards future updates. So watch out for that announcement when those go live or when those are scheduled, which I believe actually we do have the schedule live. So you guys can mark as interested for future forums. And we'll be in there every month, so make sure to tune in.
Yeah, it's a great place to get all the latest on the Econ side of things, and super recommended for everyone to join. So make sure to mark us interested in that one for sure.
I think these are great data points. Really well done, Gareth. Thank you. The GDP figure, super cool, super valuable from my perspective. One of the things we've talked about really since the inception of Star Atlas is the ability for the DAO to be self-perpetuating, and that's through what is effectively taxation revenue capture off of gameplay activities. And ultimately, what that implies to me is that to the extent we are able to build value within the economy. Larger GDP means larger net taxation, which means better funding for the DAO long term. So really great to see that figure maturing. Also really excited about the fact that 146% of Atlas emissions are being effectively reinvested back into the ecosystem, whether that's through purchasing ships. Well, I guess it's predominantly purchasing ships right at the moment, but also thinking through utility like the Atlas Locker, and otherwise just spending it within the game itself. That's the intended utility and functionality of Atlas. We want this to be a universal or global reserve currency, and we want people to get into that mentality of the currency that they're earning in the game has real purchasing power and real functionality. And so, again, people are actually using the currency for what it's intended to be used for.
Exactly, and that's what we hope to highlight with the way we've constructed the GDP or the GDP equation, is to really show people that we're counting, what they're spending, and to hint at the fact that everybody is reinvesting or recontributing to their accounts and things like that. So, yeah, it's a great figure. Happy to share it.
Yeah, and one final thing, I'm derailing us as I usually do, but the really thinking about the global real world implications of Atlas utility as well. This is part and parcel to the build program and the IP program that we have out there. People purchasing or having the ability to purchase physical items with Atlas. So, guys, we're never going to get through this with a straight face if all these memes keep coming. But in any event, it's fun. This is a good time. But yeah, really promising, again, maturation of Atlas within the economy.
Definitely agree. Well, thanks for having me, guys. I'll let you guys continue with the rest of the itinerary here.
Yeah, Gareth, thank you so much for joining, man. Some dollars in the chat for Gareth, guys. And the Econ team as a whole.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy the town hall.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So yeah, now we keep moving. And Michael, I don't know. Look at this guy on stage with us. What is that PFP, man?
Yo, new PFP. Who this? What's good?
I'll tell you, it's better
impossible,
looking.
okay.
It's better looking than some of the others I've seen. So
it's crazy, man. It's crazy. There's no way to stop that. You just have to buy with it. It's what we've been learning out here, Michael. So it is what it is. It is what it is. I know people keep saying in the chat that I move a lot, but I am not sitting down for this Townhall, guys. I need to stay active. I am standing up. I'm doing this standing up right now. So same for the Bruce. That's how we roll here. But yeah, I think we can keep moving here, Michael, before we get too derailed. There are some updates right now that we will share specific to the builders in Star Atlas, the developers. We are going to offer something new on the Star Atlas build program that is actually quite huge for builders in the space. Right now, the build program will offer you, a Star Atlas builder, the benefit of free access to RPC calls for anyone developing on Star Atlas. So you don't have to spend money on paying for the RPC calls, which is usually from the feedback that the people building products for Star Atlas have been sharing. It's usually one of the first pain points that builders face when trying to build on Solana and on top of Star Atlas as well. So right now you will be able to find that in the Star Atlas build program. And shout out to all our engineers, Brett, Jacob, Xcode. They've been working hard. Michael as well, Michael Kane. They've been working hard to get this for our users. So you can get free RPC calls by applying to a form. You have to work under some terms and conditions from our end, which is basically to make sure that the data is flowing and that you're spending those RPC calls in an effective way. But you will be able to apply via a form that can be found on Build. And yeah, you will have access to that. We will also have a developer hour event that you can find at the top of the server, and maybe Dom, you can link that. We'll have a developer hour event that you can join to dive deeper into this and how everything related to this will work. But yeah, this is some major news, I think, especially for the people who are starting a new project, building on top of Stratos or Solana, to not have to face those expenses right when you start. So, yeah.
Our engineers are the absolute goats too. So not only are you getting access to infrastructure, but you're getting access to best-in-class infrastructure. One of the things that we're going to be talking about a little bit later with Brett is Ironforge, which is a system for routing RPC calls across various providers. I do want to give another shout out to Lucas here because he was one of the new hires I mentioned. I know he's put a ton of work on this, and so it's really exciting. It's definitely leading to improvements for the user experience just in how we've implemented our infrastructure, but now we just want to make that available to you as well. So I'm stoked on this. This is exciting.
Yeah, yeah. It's a big W, I think, for all developers in the Stratos community, and yeah, just have to apply via that form. But don't worry, we'll get deeper into this on the developer hour event, and you can ask questions on the community developers channel as well. I'm pretty sure we have other engineers checking the chat on a regular basis, so you can ask any questions in there. But now we can keep moving, Michael. We have a lot to cover. We already are half an hour in. But there's another huge thing happening this year, not only for Solana, but also for Star Atlas, which is Breakpoint. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what Breakpoint is, but Breakpoint is the conference the biggest Solana conference that is held every year. This year it's happening at Singapore. And we are going to have huge presence from the Star Atlas side, right, Michael?
Yeah, we're going really, really big this year. I mean, it's something we've wanted to do in years past, but just obviously managing budgeting and kind of navigating the rough waters that we've been through over the past couple of years. But we think that this year is a real opportunity to really flex our muscles, really show off what we're capable of. And I do think timing is really appropriate, just given the state of the game, how far we've progressed, and the various features and product lines that we're rolling out. So we will be covering more on that later, by the way, some roadmap updates. But just with respect to Breakpoint, first and foremost, I will have a keynote presentation. It's going to be 15 minutes, and this is going to be on the main stage at Breakpoint. So as we have done in years past, highlighting all of the latest advancements and developments that we've made across the entire ecosystem, but with a heavy focus on gameplay and some cinematics. Those always seem to be a big hit. Santi, I can tell you, last year it was pretty incredible going on stage, seeing the room not necessarily filled out, but by the end of that presentation, it was standing room only in the back of that conference hall.
It's so hard also for us, Michael, to do those presentations. We usually get like 20 minutes to share all the progress that we've been doing in a year. So we usually have to run through it, but still super exciting.
I thought you were calling people out because I got that presentation the morning of. But no, yeah, we're trying to condense everything down into that small time frame is tough, but they have been a hit. But we're going way bigger this year. So Santi had mentioned that this is in Singapore. It's at the Suntec Convention Center. The dates will be the 20th and the 21st. And the way Solana is operating this is across 2 floors. 4th floor is going to be their primary conference room floor, and then they also have the 3rd floor reserved, which is for side events. And so I also want to note we have about 25 people from the team going out this year, so it's going to be huge from the team side. I do hope we are able to get a big community presence, and the way that we want to entice you is, first of all, we are sponsoring the Gaming Village. This is on the 4th floor. We're an anchor sponsor, again, showcasing all of the latest SA content. We'll have 6 PCs set up, running demos. It's right in the middle of the conference room, and it's right near the entrance to the main stage. Dom, we have a few images here that we can share. These are just mock-ups, not of Star Atlas, but just from Solana directly of what this Gamer Village is going to look like. The anchor sponsorship includes one of these corner spots, and this is where we'll have all the PCs set up, as well as the 70-inch display and some merch to give away as well. Designs of the outside of this kind of like self-contained gamer area.
Yeah. It's looking
And then there will
clean.
be a number, yeah, there's a number of other sponsors there. You see this kiosk on screen. Some people will just have the one station. And then there's a streamer booth right there in the middle. So really excited about being present just on the 4th floor. That's on both the 20th and the 21st. However, I think probably the bigger announcement here is that we're officially going to be kicking off what is kind of the first ever Star Atlas conference. And so,
Yes, sir.
yeah, so we've secured a side event on the 3rd floor as well, and this is running alongside events like the Network State, which was hosted for the first time at Breakpoint last year. That's Balaji's event, and this is going to be a full day dedicated conference. So 8 hours. It's open to the public. It does not require a Breakpoint pass to attend. And
That's big,
we're
Michael. Let me interrupt there
huge.
because that's big. Like you can go to Singapore without the Breakpoint ticket. You will be able to get on the Breakpoint venue on the site that Star Atlas has, the floor that Star Atlas has, without any costs. You don't need to pay for the Breakpoint ticket. You can just go to the Star Atlas conference, the Star Atlas Summit.
100%. Yeah, and we, I do want to cover. This is an open invite to guilds and to community members and to build program participants. I'm going to run through some of the programming that we're working on right now. Now, this is still relatively early stage planning. Yeah, Dom, thank you. Sharing the deck. This is what the conference hall looks like. We're tentatively working with the Star Atlas Summit as the branding for this specific event. But you can see the presentation room that can seat up to 312 people. That's on the left side of the screen. The exhibition floor on the right-hand side of the screen there. And we do have a little entry point desk registration area as well.
Yep.
Looking cool,
Yeah.
looking cool. So what we are our programming currently is an opening address from me. I do want to highlight here that Danny is going to be in attendance. This is the first time we've
Yes.
been able to pull Danny in. He's going to be having a fireside chat. This is after lunch. Really excited to finally get Danny out, to get him out in the public. We're doing fireside chats and panels with team members. We have team presentations. We're doing fireside chats and panels with community members, with DAX, with IP builders. We have the networking area, as I mentioned. One of the plans for that exhibition area is to offer booths to any DAX or guilds that want to join and present or have a presence there. We want to make that available to you for free. There's going to be some special announcements related to the DAO. I don't want to say too much right now, but we do have some announcements planned for that conference as well. We're also working on a tournament. This is going to be a Surge tournament. So we will have 12 PCs set up on the 3rd floor. This will be for 3 teams of 4 different players. And we want you to start thinking about forming a squad if you'd like to compete. There are going to be prizes for the winners. And what we're planning right now is probably have the tournament running all day, but the semifinals and finals will be streamed. I saw some questions in there. The entire event is going to be streamed and recorded. Let's see. Another big mention. I want to pause. Any thoughts on that before I go on, Santi?
Yeah, Michael, I think one thing that you mentioned that is probably important for the people listening is the presence for guilds and IP projects. Mainly for the guilds, we'll have something like either booths or kiosks where you guys will be able to present what you're working on throughout the day. And maybe we will save some time for presentations also for guilds. So if there are any guilds out there, it will be limited spots, of course. So if there are any guilds out there who are interested and can have a presence at Singapore, please reach out to me or Dominic Bain, and we'll work on trying to get you there. Just FYI, it's probably going to be based on if we get many requests, it's probably going to be based on COPA standings and how the guilds did in there. So just so everybody knows, that's what we will be using. We still don't know how many spots we will have, but yeah, if you are a Star Atlas guild, Star Atlas DAC, and you want to participate in the Star Atlas Summit, have a kiosk or booth, please reach out, and we'll try to get that done.
Yep. We are still working through some of the logistics. Bone, I saw your question in there. It is the 21st will be the date of the summit. It'll be that all-day event. Again, we're upstairs at the main Breakpoint conference, both the 20th and the 21st. But the Star Atlas Summit is specifically the 21st. Would love to get people out there to experience this, to present, to participate. What we do know is that it can be expensive to get to Singapore. It happens to be quite a busy week. It's bracketed by both Token 2049 before Breakpoint. The Formula One Grand Prix is the weekend after Breakpoint. So if you're interested, we would encourage you to go out and start looking at travel and accommodations as soon as possible. And please do let us know if you'd like to be involved in any way with this event. But we've got one more thing to announce before we move on here, and also just super excited about this. It speaks to our ambition and drive to extend the ecosystem and co-create this idea of Star Atlas. And so we are going to be launching the first Star Atlas Hackathon as well, working through some branding on that. But effectively, this is going to be multiple categories that developers can participate in. It is open to existing projects. I'll mention Sly here. Their tools are some of the most popular within the ecosystem right now. However, only new feature development for legacy or existing projects will be considered for the hackathon. So you can't just use what you've already built and submit that. You have to extend that or improve that in some way. We're going to be providing prizes. This will be sponsored officially through Ogrica, the ships, and we're planning on having the entire hackathon launch soon, but end with a ceremony and a selection of the winner, as well as the potential for a presentation from the winners at the summit itself. Now, we do have some plans for how the DAO can get involved in this. Again, I'm going to hold back on that comment for now, but this is it. This is the first move. Not only do we have a wide open conference room floor, we have all of this activity going on around Star Atlas. We're going to be bringing people from downstairs from the conference floor itself. We're going to be reaching out probably to some universities and around the local area, trying to get as many people into this event as possible.
Yeah, it's huge. I know we just dropped a lot of information, guys, and it's all great news. And don't worry, we'll have you covered. We'll have more material coming out, more explanations on how the hackathon and the summit and everything is going to work. But yeah, more than invited. Anyone that wants to come, again, you don't need a Breakpoint ticket to join the Star Atlas Summit. Same venue as Breakpoint. You don't need a ticket. So if you have the chance to make it to Singapore, please join us because it's going to be a ton of fun.
100%.
Yep. So yeah, Michael, I think we can keep moving now. And we will get into one of the topics that people were really expecting for today. I think from the comments that I saw, everybody was, this is the main thing that people were waiting for. And this is the crew packs, crew cards. So I don't know, Dominic Bain, if you want to pull something up.
We'll get a little teaser here to show off. Not only was it one of the hottest topics, it was one of the most internally hotly debated topics leading up to the town hall today. Guys, I wanted to show you the full cinematic. Dom gave you just a teaser, just a little teaser there. Well, there's more where that came from.
Yeah. So yeah, Dom, I think you can keep playing that in the background, like maybe with no sound, so people just see it maybe a couple times. I don't know, I just think it's so cool. But yeah, Michael, we know that everybody is super excited about the crew packs and everybody wants to know more, but maybe there's people out there who don't know what the crew packs and crew cards are, so maybe it's worth it to quickly cover what they are.
Yeah, I mean we've talked about this for a while, so I think most people are probably familiar. But really, to simply put it, this is just the newest asset class that's being introduced by Automata. I'm thinking this might actually be the last asset class that is introduced by us into the game. These are really your base units. These will, crew members are going to be sold in packs of either 1 or 5. They'll have randomly selected traits, rarities, aptitudes, skills. In terms of utility, it's quite robust. So these are going to be your avatars in Unreal Engine 5. Their Sage crafting crew, I think that's probably the highest demand for them right now. We know the extra small ships have been hot tickets because of their ability to improve crafting efficiency and times. But mobile companion app is something that we've been working on for quite a while now. These will be your crew in that companion fitness trainer app. And of course, well, for me, I think one of the more exciting things is these are Star Atlas PFPs, like highest quality PFPs we've probably seen launched ever. So I'm really excited about all of those components. Now, I did want to mention here as well, there's a perk sheet that we're going to show off. Now, we aren't going to go into exhaustive detail on the perk sheet at all. There's actually been 2 brews on this alone, but and Danny did a phenomenal job putting together the various perks or benefits associated with each of the rarities of each of these crew members. So I think we'll maybe share that image, but if you are interested in understanding how rarity impacts the crew that that is randomly drawn, then check out this perk sheet and maybe start doing some theory crafting around how you want to combine your crew together as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have 2 brews, as you pointed out, Michael, just taking the deep dive into that. So everyone is more than invited to check out the recording for that. So yeah. And Michael, I have to ask the question that everybody probably has in the audience.
Mhm.
When are we providing a date? Anything?
When are the crew coming out?
Yeah.
No, we are. This was kind of the hotly debated item here. We're not going to announce the date today, guys. I know everybody's really excited about getting that. There's a lot going on here, and there's a number of reasons for that. I will say this is one of the most critical releases that we'll have this year, maybe for a while. And so we do want to make sure we get this one absolutely right. The revenue generation potential off of this is quite large for us. And while I don't want to go into detail on financials from a company perspective, obviously the Automata doing well is good for everyone. It gives us extended runway, make sure that we can continue building out this vision into the long term. So there's a little bit of consideration being put into market conditions right now, which is one of the reasons we're holding this back. But more importantly, we are orchestrating a pretty significant marketing push. This is one of the biggest marketing coordination activities we've ever executed on in the history of the company. So we want to make sure we get the marketing all lined up. We do want to make sure that we're able to reach out to a bunch of different groups and stakeholders across the Solana ecosystem. We're excited and we love our community, but we know it's time to grow as well. So we want to make sure we do well with getting the marketing out on this. Also want to mention one of the benefits to us delaying this a little bit is that we are going to have all species, all factions, all art will be completed. So previously we had mentioned it would be mud only, means everything else that you rolled would be placeholder art. We didn't really want to go out that way. So we are going to have all of the art again for all species and all factions completed in time for the launch. And there are some other big announcements today as well that I don't really want to overshadow. So for a number of reasons, not giving you the date today, but rest assured we're going to provide that date to you very soon. In the meantime, we have some cool stuff to show off. Dom, did you want to pull up some of the character art there? And
Yeah, man. Like the character art stuff is quite huge, man, honestly. Sorry to interrupt you there, Michael, but yeah, like just having the art ready, it adds a lot to the experience and overall the crew cards themselves. So It's a
Yeah,
huge
Dom, I
relief.
would love to get some feedback from you as well. I know you're probably one of the most excited about crew release on the team. Any thoughts on some of the art that you're scrolling through here?
Yeah, the art is absolutely incredible, and the crew cards themselves, why I'm so excited for them, are it's such a unique take on your in-game avatar. So all these crew cards that you're going to be getting from these packs are going to have different aptitudes, different perks. They're going to have different personalities, different backstories. All of this is going to be lore accurate too. So these crew cards have so much detail put into them, from the art to the story to the name of just everything in general. So with kind of all that information in mind, Michael's point is absolutely accurate, being that if we're gonna do something, we have to do it right. Like we have to have we believe we have a really, 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 really good release here, and we want to make sure that as many people can see that as possible. So we're putting a lot of time, a lot of effort into these crew cards, the art, the utility behind them. Like Michael pointed out with the perk sheet. There's a lot going on here. There's so much stuff, so it's gonna be worth the wait, and it's coming sooner than you guys think. Don't worry, but it's 100% worth the wait. And if you guys look at the screen that I'm sharing right now, you can see all this art that we have coming, and it's absolutely incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Tufa, by the way, Tufa.
That's fine. That's
Look
fine.
at Tufa.
I am going for a Tufa anomaly. Have to have
Man,
it.
that's looking great.
We
I
got
need
some
to Punas
boosters,
myself. I
Ooster,
need to Puna.
and
Oof.
Ooster. So just a
Uh,
recap: we have some Oosters, we have the Tufa, we have the Oni, we have the Punabs, we have the Fatoli, Mud, and Maries. We have everything. We're putting everything into this. You can rest assured knowing that we are putting our best foot forward when it comes to crew packs. I want you guys to all know that. Trust me. Trust me. We want this out as much as you guys do.
Shout
yeah.
out to Ager. He says we've got the Hawk Tufa on screen.
Oh
I
man.
like it. I like it. A couple of kind of clerical items I did want to mention here. So when we announce the sale, we're also going to release both the snapshot date and the airdrop date. Now I know we have gone back and forth on how we're going to execute specifically that benefit, that legacy benefit for everyone that holds game assets or ships specifically right now. And so what you're going to have is 2 days before crew packs go officially on sale with the pack opening experience and app built into the marketplace. 2 days before we will take the snapshot. Now at that point, any ship that you're holding, and that can be across virtually any one of our applications. And so if you have ships either in your wallet, in Score, in Sage, all of those are going to be accounted for. I'll probably ask Brett this question when he comes back, or when he joins us up here a little bit later. But we are able to identify if those assets are in a non-Star Atlas account, and so we'll have to figure out how to reconcile that. But for example, if you had your ships on some external marketplace that I'm not even aware of right at the moment, and it was in an escrow account on that marketplace, we do want to make sure that you are able to withdraw that ship in advance so that you receive the airdrop item. So I'm going kind of in depth here. All of this will be covered in an article, but suffice to say, you'll know all of the dates. 2 days before the sale is the snapshot. The next day, we will do the airdrop. So you will get all of your crew members, the crew packs, as well as the component bundles for any upgraded components on all of your ships. Those are going to come out the day before the sale. You all have first access. And as soon as the app goes live with sales, you'll also be able to go in and open those crew packs. I didn't have this on the agenda, but probably worth mentioning here as well that the team has done some great work on creating a good user experience for getting those individual CNFT crew members into Sage. So you will have an option at the time that you're opening packs to select the quantity of packs that you're opening, but you can also automatically deposit them into the Sage game ID. Now, if you don't elect that option because you want to see them in inventory, you will have to go individually deposit each one of those into Sage. And we know for some of you that could be thousands or tens of thousands of crew. So the nature of CNFTs is that they are one of ones, so you're not able to really batch them together. There might be some efficiency where you can get 2 or 3 in, but generally speaking, again, the user experience here, really proud of the team for including that option to programmatically deposit them into Sage at the time of opening. I also wanted to cover here, just as it's kind of related, it became aware to me that there was some confusion on how ships would be priced following the snapshot and airdrop. I do want to be clear, what we have attempted to always communicate is that the airdrop is bonus on top of your ships. You're getting that for free. You're getting crew, you're getting upgraded components. That's for free. So the price of our ships has always been set based on our economic model. We are not reducing or changing the price of ships. Extra small ships, for example, will continue to be at a baseline of $15 plus or minus their manufacturing premium or discount. So we are not changing ship prices. This is an early benefit for everyone who owns these assets now. In the future, people will buy these ships. They'll have to purchase crew, and they'll either have to craft or purchase upgraded components that will not come with future purchases following the snapshot date.
Yeah,
So,
Michael, let me interrupt you here. Guys, don't worry. Again, we know this is a lot of information, but we will have Medium articles and we will have events and everything explaining how to be ready for all this. So no need to worry. You will be ready for all these dates and when things happen. So no need to worry. There's one last thing here on the crew packs, right, Michael?
yeah, really psyched for this one. Coming straight from Danny himself. So we were able to build out an additional incentive or campaign with crew packs, and so we're announcing now that faction leaders are also going to be released alongside the crew packs. Now, how is this going to work? It's kind of a structured campaign where you need to collect the 5 rarities between common and legendary of any specific species or faction. And collecting common through legendary gives you essentially 1 ticket. Now, the ticket, you can have multiples of these. So if you have multiple sets of common through legendary, not combining them, but individual complete sets, you will be eligible for a drawing. Now, 3 people are going to be selected to receive the faction leader crew card. Now, the crew card is not just the crew card. It will actually come with access to the exclusive Tier 5 tab on the Central Space Station. It's also going to give you access to the one-of-one faction leader ship. And there are going to be elections on this. So it's kind of small print on here. I do want to point out you will get the crew card. The crew card gives you access to those 2 facilities, the ship and the land hab. That access will last for 1 year. Now, after that point, there's going to be some mechanic that swaps or rotates faction leaders. You do not get to keep the ship. You do not get to keep the hab, but you will keep the crew pack, or excuse me, the crew card that you were delivered. So it's going to be really cool. Go out and collect those sets of 5. Again, that makes you eligible for the drawing. We'll randomly select winners, and the winners will have all of these perks with the anomaly faction crew leaders.
This is huge. This is huge. I can already see us doing a brew just on this, probably. But yeah, we'll be showing all this in more detail as well. Kind of huge to get to collect all that from the same species up to legendary and have a chance to get the faction leader, man. It's pretty huge.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. This was, Danny's brainchild here, and so just one of the things that we're able to include as we strategically time the official release of crew cards. I wanted to note here, this is slightly new information came in this morning, but Danny and Jose have been chatting about some of the other perks, not only for the faction leaders, but for high or kind of VIP Polis stakeholders. where we'll have political offices across the central space stations and the COP, CSS. And so we're essentially providing office space for, again, these faction leaders. There's one other point here I'm going to make towards the end of the town hall today, but high PvP holders as well. So access points and exclusive access for those various members of the community.
Huge stuff. So yeah, guys, I think that covers everything that we had for the crew packs, but no need to worry. We're only at half, I think, the agenda, or maybe even less than half the agenda. We still have a lot of stuff coming and some surprises, big surprises that people weren't expecting. So, Michael, I think we can keep moving here.
Or maybe that does worry people that we're only halfway through, but I think there's
Yeah,
some really
maybe. I
exciting
don't know
stuff
how
still
much
coming.
time people have, but yeah. If you have time, like, go grab another beer, prepare another coffee. We keep going here at this Atlas Townhall. So yeah, now we will move into roadmap updates. And guys, we are doing some changes to how the roadmap will look like for the end of the year. And these changes will be reflected in the roadmap structure for this year. If you know, we have the roadmap page, and it will be updated on Tuesday. So we are going to focus more on features that can have a higher impact for the company, for Star Atlas as a whole. And that's what we are going to be covering right now. So I think we can get started on this, Michael.
Yeah, thanks, Santi. I think the idea here is that we have been thinking very strategically about what the rollout strategy looks like, not only for this year, but going into next year. Really big emphasis on new user acquisition. Again, we absolutely love our community, guys, but we want to see it grow. We want to see the ecosystem grow. We want to see more people involved and participating in all of the gameplay loops. So we've been thinking through what's available now. What does the timeline look like leading up to Breakpoint, by the way, because Breakpoint is one of the more considerable events for us this year. We want to have some really amazing stuff to showcase, to demo, and just generally show off to this audience, and with the intention of bringing new people in. And a lot of the focus around that has been on replayable or repeatable, enjoyable gameplay loops. Thinking about things like Surge, for example, and the success that Surge had and the interest in that. I announced at Crossroads how we're making this transition from Sage 2D in browser to building out all of those mechanics, Fleet Command in Unreal Engine 5, and really thinking about how can we start to target and attract a mainstream audience. And I think we're approaching the point, again, with the state of the game to be able to accomplish that. And so we've kind of reworked the roadmap a little bit. It's not really dramatic, but I guess starting here just with UE5, we are effectively deprecating the concept of our 2.2 as a release candidate. So 2.2 is not going to be coming out anymore. Instead, we're transitioning that into a preseason and season 0 structure, right? So kind of getting into what those are, we're just going to roll directly into preseason. That's I hesitate to share dates, but I you know, preseason content is going to be coming with around Breakpoint. Period. That's what we're preparing for. Everything needs to be ready to demo at Breakpoint. So preseason content is going to start rolling out at Breakpoint, at least in a tech demo state, and shortly thereafter, we would make that open to the public, still as a gated access. So you'd still need the game access key to be able to play, private from that perspective, but at least rolled out so that people can start enjoying that. Now,
Yeah,
before I get
Michael, I think yeah. One last thing before we cover what season 0 and preseason will contain.
No, that was really it. I do want to get into what is coming specifically with preseason, but I thought it would make sense to highlight first season 0, which is a bit farther out. That's going to take us into 2025 and content that really goes into 2026. But just to kind of collect the thoughts around this. Season 0 will include the racing, the hover racing, competitive racing, combat racing mechanics that were originally slated for 2.2. It's going to have the racing and fighter career, character creation, tiered racer skins, the Yoki open world, which is the Ooster home planet. And then joining those features will be, as I said, the combat racing, but from the on-chain side, it's progression and XP systems, it's ship mastery, it's ship configuration. And naturally, this is full multiplayer support with a variety of EOS, Epic Online Services, and Metagravity, who we've been working with. And it goes full 24/7 live ops open to the public when we get into Season 0. So I'll pause there.
Yeah, just a reminder for everyone here, this is Season 0. This is what is coming after preseason. So now, Michael, if you want, we can get on preseason, which is the target date for at least a demo will be Breakpoint, as you pointed out. So we can get on that.
Yeah, so just to quickly summarize, and some of this was covered at Crossroad, but there's effectively 3 or 4 experiences that are going to be coming with our initial preseason release. So the first of those is Surge, and that is largely because, again, the success, the traction, the interest that we saw in Surge, giving people this opportunity to engage in third-person shooter team-based gameplay. We'll roll the video here. Raise your hand if you see your name in the video.
This was one of the best events we ever had, to be honest. I think everybody really, really enjoyed Surge. Love this clip. Michael, did you manage to get a kill during Surge?
I did on I wasn't able to make the second or third event. We were on the road, you'll recall, Santi. We were traveling. We were it was Dubai, it was Istanbul, it was Thailand. So I was not able to make the actual main event. I never got my crew member airdrop. I wasn't able to play. But
oh wow. You can open a support ticket if you want.
Okay, I will do that. I know a guy. However, so Surge here is not just Surge as we know it now. So it's not Grist. I saw your message. Yeah, we need smaller maps if it's 4v4v4. So that is 100% the plan. It's going to be a bunch of different environments, a bunch of different maps. There will be some instance-based gameplay here, so you can have those smaller teams. It's not the big open map. And the idea is that we have this online 24/7. You can always jump in, always find a map, and always engage in that PvP. In addition to that, though, we're extending the gameplay mechanics from Surge as you know it to include things like team deathmatch, gun game. Gun game is one of my favorites. I don't know if everyone is familiar with gun game, but essentially you get kills and it kind of levels up your gun, and you want to get to the final best gun and get the kill with that before anyone else. We have a VIP gameplay mode. Dating me, but you all know this. All the way back in the 90s playing Half-Life, there was a game called The Hunted, where it was a mod for Half-Life called The Hunted. So that's essentially the VIP mode that we're building out. A SWAT gameplay mode, which is no shields, faster kills. And there's probably a few others that get worked in by the time we roll this out as well. So I think it's really exciting. This is something that I think is really attractive to that mainstream audience. So how do we get the mainstream gamer in? Well, let's give them some cool third-person, first-person shooter gameplay to engage in with a bunch of different ways to play that.
Yeah,
So the
absolutely.
second,
Just that coupled with stats, man. And I know I had this take for a while, but give me those game modes, give me some stats, and I will grind that for sure.
yeah, well, you, Dom, myself, we had a little run in Destiny 2 for a while there. So, and I
We
do think
tried.
we'll. No comment.
Yeah.
All right. No, but this is the type of stuff that I think is really going to be engaging for people, whether they even care about the economy or not. We'll probably tie some economic elements into this. We'll tie in some paths for getting rewards for playing into this. But you know, I, I will note that at the conferences that we went to and the travel that we've been on recently, it was almost ubiquitous that a lot of people would gravitate to the third-person shooter game mode. So one of the reasons we wanted to focus on that is because we just think it's going to be very attractive for those new users and for you guys. I had mentioned Fleet Command earlier, so this is the RTS MMO gameplay or kind of 4X gameplay that currently is Sage or Sage Labs. We're focusing on bringing Fleet Command or building Fleet Command out in Unreal Engine 5, putting a new beautiful face and graphical fidelity on Sage, and turning that into not only an economic product, but one that we think will be a lot of fun for new users as well. I know there have been some I guess comments or concerns about Sage 3D, for example. I want to mention here, Sage 3D was something, so that was built in Play Canvas, and we rolled that out December of last year, right before we went on break. Internally, we kind of knew that that was a product that didn't have much life on it. Sage 3D, immediately upon launch, did not have full feature parity with Sage. So that meant you could do certain things in Sage in browser you couldn't do in Sage 3D using Play Canvas. That almost immediately deprecated the benefit of or the value of using Sage 3D because it didn't have all of the features that Sage had. Play Canvas also, just as a game engine, really wasn't working for us. It was not optimized. It was going to take a bunch of work to improve Sage 3D. People's PCs were burning up in that version of Sage, and so a lot of that gets alleviated. I genuinely believe that we are going to be able to attract a new audience to an RTS game if it's built in Unreal Engine 5. And we've also been working with a number of different either DPIN or cloud gaming or pixel streaming companies that are going to with the objective of making our Unreal Engine client accessible to anyone on any device. That's mobile, in browser, or of course you can download the client directly if you have a gaming PC. And we anticipate the PC requirements on Fleet Command to be at least a bit lower than those of our current showroom client.
That's huge. That's also big.
Yeah.
A lot of people are looking forward to that, and I think we'll cover that in more detail later on the agenda. What we have.
Yeah.
So,
Dom, let's just show that off in case anybody hasn't seen it. We've got a video here from the Crossroads reveal of Fleet Command. Beautiful. I did see a question from Groove, and I meant to highlight this, but yes, Groove, that is the precise intention. It's a hybrid between the traditional first-person, third-person MMO and that full fleet management RTS style of gameplay. And so you are going to be managing fleets at that from that perspective, if that's your preference. But with the flip of a switch, push of a button, you are able to go all the way down into first-person view inside your ship and be walking around the interior of the ship. And all of this is done within a single client. And I just think that that is absolutely incredible to have the dynamics of those different mechanics interacting with one another.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Michael, one random comment before we keep moving. I see in the chat that it's the birthday of Rato Doom, one of our longtime community members. So just wanted to say happy birthday to Rat while we're here on stage.
Yes, very
We can
happy
keep
birthday
moving
to
now.
you. Thanks for spending your birthday with us here on this town hall. Hopefully it's
Yeah.
a good one for you. Yeah, and I just there are going to be some other elements to Fleet Command that I think are going to enable us to onboard new users without all of the maybe complexity that we're seeing right now in Sage. Sage is kind of a hard thing to pitch to a new users. Santi, you can back me up on that, and especially with some of the international
Absolutely.
communities that we've been expanding, it's a pretty hard sell and it's a steep learning curve. And it's kind of hard for the small asset-based user to really enjoy, first of all, but also operate efficiently and profitably within the game. And so using systems like AtlasNet, our fork of Solana, we can even provide free-to-play methods of getting involved in Fleet Command with no real economic incentives included, but at least as a way for people to experiment with Star Atlas, with tutorials and with information, and just be able to navigate that beautiful map and setting in Engine. I think it's really going to benefit us for getting the attention of a new audience. And then finally,
No, absolutely.
and the last thing, I also mentioned this at Crossroads, but we've re-engaged in our efforts on what we were calling Project Rose Garden. And so Rose Garden is the ONI Central Space Station. We've been showing off some content, and I think we have a video to show here as well of what the Sogmian district in the Central Space Station is looking like right now. But the main thing here is that we are going to be opening up the auction system. So you'll actually be able to go out and select your land plot, start bidding on that, and secure your real estate in this new digital future. Well, let me pause there, actually, just for a moment. Dom, do we want to show off that Project Rose Garden video?
Man, let me say, it's crazy how fast this is moving. The only CSS, man.
Especially considering we just picked up efforts on that a few months ago. It was maybe 2 months before Crossroads, which was May 10th. So, and that content that you're seeing is actually still content from Crossroads. So a lot of work has been done since then. But this is really cool. Again, being able to select your land plot, establish your presence and place in the central space station. We're opening this up for commercial and brand deals. One of those that we have in the works is just with Topper. Now, some of you may have noticed that Uphold Topper is now built into our marketplace. So if you need to on-ramp into crypto, if you're using a credit card or debit card, you can use that. You can purchase directly on the marketplace, but we're building out Topper ATMs throughout the game. So if you just get into the game for the first time, you don't know how to buy a ship, you don't know how to buy any crypto, you can really just, as a traditional gamer, walk up to this ATM and get immediately on-ramped into crypto, which I think is cool, but also extending that out to new brand partnerships that we've been working on for a while and thinking about how do we start to establish the real commercial district across Star Atlas. And then there's going to be little like challenges and things that you can do on the space station. And this is where we're really focusing all of our efforts with Metagravity. So everyone probably knows this. Metagravity is our infrastructure partner on user concurrency scaling. So enabling us to get tens of thousands or potentially hundreds of thousands or millions of users all sharing the same instance, same state with no separate servers and no instancing across all of that. We're focusing their efforts here on the CSS as the social hub and social center and commerce center, and then using EOS for this instance-based gaming for things like Surge, for example. So I'm stoked. There is one more big thing for Rose Garden. It's called Project Gallia. We're going to cover that with Brad in a little bit, so I'll stop there. But that is going to be some fun content to watch as well.
Yeah,
I might just
absolutely.
fly through some of the
Yeah,
rest
yeah.
of
I
this
was
stuff
going to
here.
say that, Michael. We have a lot still to cover, so yeah.
Yeah, some of these updates, they're straight from production team, so Chip, Danny, Brad, but things like basic anti-cheat, that will be coming in preseason, so we can eliminate some bots and just make a better player experience. We will have more advanced anti-cheat coming later. We can use that to validate competitive performance. One of the issues we have right now is if people are able to cheat in the game, we can't really reward them with on-chain permanent experience or economic incentives. So anti-cheat systems coming online. A full upgraded flight model is coming in preseason as well. And so this is a physics-based upgrade, and it specifically means that things like gravity, ship stats, mass, shape, all transfer into the flight model parameters. It's going to feel more realistic when you're maneuvering each of your ships, and they're all unique to the ship that you're flying. We're adding pets. I think this is something that people are excited about. Cosmetic pets and a pet slot on your character. They will appear depending on the case, or depends on kind of where you're at on the map. I think we covered a lot of this, Santi. No more private beta.
Yeah.
So we had an idea that we were going to be doing a private beta with 2.2. We're not doing the private beta. We're going straight into preseason. That will be private access, not with the same kind of beta structure exclusive to a certain group of people, but accessible to anyone with a game access key. And then that would be rolling into a public release, open access release, before the end of preseason. So yeah, and I think just maybe quickly moving on here to Sage and Fleet Command one more time. There was a question that Dom and Santi wanted me to address here about what is the future of Sage in browser. The future of Sage in browser is essentially we will continue to support that product until we get Fleet Command to a specific point, and we have confidence that we are able to make that client accessible to virtually everyone around the world. So Fleet Command combined with some form of pixel streaming or DPIN network cloud gaming, so that you don't need the high-end gaming PC. When we couple those two, then we will fully deprecate Sage in browser. In the meantime, we are going to be maintaining both, and both will also maintain feature parity, which means that anything that is playable in Sage in the browser is also playable in Fleet Command, and vice versa.
Yeah, Michael, I feel like also a quick recap of what we've been sharing is worth it. So, quick recap here of what we just shared. Basically, combat racing, on-chain progression, on-chain event scheduler, and on-chain ship configuration will be moving to Season 0. Instead, we will be focusing on our 3D person shooter game modes, Fleet Command, Project Gallia, commercial and residential real estate, and also pets. And that's going with preseason. So
I'm really
just wanted
passionate
to
about all
cover
of
that
this.
really quick.
Yeah, thanks, Santi. My perspective on this is that we're providing a nice variety of gameplay options for people to get involved in. Whether you're a shooter player, you're an RTS player, you're just kind of the social hangout player, and again, something cool coming with Project Gallia. But this is going to give opportunities for a wide audience to find the thing that is interesting, fun, attractive to them to get involved and start playing.
Yeah. Should we get into some other updates like Marketplace, Starcom? We can get Brett, our head of engineering, on stage right now with us. Brett, if you can raise your hand, we'll let you in. Welcome, sir, to the stage. Brett, nice to have you again.
Hello. My camera is not allowed. I don't know why.
Oh. No worries, no worries. I just gave you the committee department role.
There we go.
You should be able to do that now.
There we go. Cool. Hello.
Nice.
Brett, welcome to
Nice
the
to see you, my friend.
stage. Big congratulations, by the way. You recently got a promotion to head of engineering.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hopefully I can get it all done.
Well, you've been doing a phenomenal job so far. Thrilled to have you on stage, man. We've got a few things that we wanted to cover that were maybe non-gaming related. So thinking through things like the marketplace, Starcom, everybody's favorite scapegoat, Starframe, and then talk a little bit about this Ironforge and Hello Moon modification to the infra as well. So just starting here with marketplace, we are looking at building out version 3 of this, and it's intended to kick off in Q4 of this year. Walk us through some of the feature enhancements, feature development changes we're making to the marketplace going into the end of the year.
Yeah, so bit of a history lesson here. Version 1 of the marketplace was the original launch of everything. That was built on Serum markets, not our code base, just really deploying the Serum markets. V2 was us kicking off our own code base. That was probably 2 years ago now. When that's the marketplace you guys are using right now with orders going back and forth on there. We can put all our assets up, put much more information, all of that together, just a ton more features there. Way less costly on the rent side as well, because we don't have to do all the Serum, like create your token storage or all the stuff they did. So now we're looking, that has issues, V2. So we're looking at V3 of like solving all the things that we've noticed over time, and I bet you guys have as well. So like things like adding support for CNFTs. So the current version of the marketplace won't be able to support the crew as they are now. But it'll be on third-party marketplaces for that. But version 3 will add direct support for that. Historical data, charts, all of that. There's some third-party websites that have shown that. We're going to integrate those directly into the marketplace view with our Star Atlas spin on it, so you can get very good information about what you're purchasing and how the prices are going, all of that. Things like a single escrow wallet that can bid on multiple items, so you put a certain amount of Atlas in, you're able to make multiple bids rather than having a lock Atlas for every single bid.
That one's huge, by the way. Yeah. Huge, highly demanded feature.
Yeah, it's very nice to have, to be able to just say, I want any of these things. Then starting to get into bundles, like us being able to offer bundles, but also users being able to offer bundles. So like a manufacturer says, hey, here's a bulk discount if you buy all 50 of these X4s. Or I'm selling my ship with their crew, and it's this premium pack that I've created by leveling up all my crew everywhere. So you have some great options there. Then we're going to integrate some more REST API stuff. I know from on the developer side, people have had trouble like interfacing with the blockchain, have to go through our libraries and everything rather than a standard API. So we'll have a data APIs available, so you're much more easily able to query that and do whatever you want to do on the trading side. Then integrating land auctions, so you'll be able to not only do these through the Unreal client when the Rose Garden stuff comes online, but you'll be able to purchase land and look at it and put up bids and everything all on the marketplace as well. Of course, the Unreal experience is going to be better for scoping out your land and seeing like what are the views like, can I see the ocean from here, all of that. Then the also more topper integration with credit card purchases, all of that immediately. Like, oh, I see the ship, I want to buy it. Here's my credit card information. Immediately get it right there. So
the bundled trades is a really interesting one. It's effectively barter system at that point, where you can mix and match virtually any asset. That one is that one. I'm putting you on the spot here, but might be a little chaotic on that marketplace. How do we intend to organize?
That's a good question. This is why it's Q4.
To be figured out. Okay, we're just bringing you guys all into the internal planning meeting here, but okay. So good stuff. Marketplace. You had mentioned as well the historical price charts. Like that's another one that I think people really want. I think that that's really valuable in games, specifically for resource markets as well. So having that historical data is going to be helpful in making your economic decisions. Let's talk about Starcom. As I said, everybody's favorite scapegoat. This has been a pain point for us in the past. It's something that we've been working on improving and rolling out a V2 of for almost a year now, actually, that I believe has been in re-engineering. Talk to us about this, and yeah, there's some really cool stuff coming with V2.
Yeah, the development of V2 kind of kicked off this year. We were very focused on labs over last year, but now it's entering the phase where we might have some deployments here soon, depending on if everything goes right. We'll have some deployments very soon. What Starcom originally was just a server that sat up in the cloud, and it dumped all the data from the blockchain and then kept live updates and then sent those to users. Because if we dumped every user all the information, everybody would need a gigabit upload connection and be just constantly downloading everything. It's far too much data for a user, so we have to siphon that out and like split it up into what actually matters to a given user at a given time. So that's Starcom's job, is to take that fire hose and then split it out into the streams that everyone just cares about. So Starcom V2 is an evolution on this similar concept, but it's going to be built with a TypeScript uploader that uploads all the data in, and then Firestore, which is one of Google's offerings that offers real-time data distribution. So kind of offloading the data distribution to a much more tested platform than one of our own custom make. And then that will be able to distribute data to all the users, and we'll be able to much more easily make custom queries. Before, to add something to Starcom, we'd have to add a whole section of code just to, I need to now get this view on the fleets for this one site thing here. It's a lot of work to do that in the old Starcom. And the new Starcom is just, okay, I need to make a new query. The other cool part about this is, since Firestore is a very publicly available one, everybody basically will be direct connecting to it from their client. This could be something that we make publicly available for even developers to be able to access our data very, very easily. That's really dependent on pricing, and wise we haven't seen how much it's going to cost at this point. Like, it may require more costs on that side, but it would be very nice to be able to provide that as part of the build program, as well as the RPC that we're providing now. So it should result in a massively enhanced reliability and everything along those lines, with less refreshes, less crashing, less calls out to say Starcom's down, even though some of that is not Starcom, but it's a great scapegoat. But the biggest headline number that we're talking about is we're going down from like 2 to 3 seconds of latency when you click, to trying to get down to 150 milliseconds of latency. Solana is capable of doing this in the good times, not all the time, but getting down to that when Solana's doing well is a big goal of ours, to not have our infrastructure slowing it down, to be just when you click, you get a response very quickly.
Beneath the Doherty threshold of 400 milliseconds, and also this gets us much closer to that real-time Web 2 performant gameplay that we really want to deliver across Sage and any of the other products that are integrating on-chain mechanics. But that's huge, man. From 2 to 3 seconds down to 150 milliseconds. And there is a question of when. I usually have to answer that, but we'll put this one in your camp.
So the initial release should be pretty soon on a few parts. We're going to start slowly rolling it out over our applications across everything that's on Portal, which is Play.Stratlas. There's a ton of apps there, so we'll roll it out piecemeal there. And then the biggest one is the end is Sage. That's the most complicated one. So first you'll see it coming out on Portal, Faction Claims, Faction Fleet, Marketplace, and then coming to Sage later. And this is all just to get us more experience with it, developing faster. The whole goal is to make it so we can develop the game faster. So
awesome. Now Starframe's a technical one. I don't think it's one like infrastructure set that we've even described publicly before. You want to walk us through what Starframe is and the improvements we're going to see from this?
Yeah, so most Solana programs are developed using a framework called Anchor, which was developed by Serum way back when. I forget who it's under now, but that's we have a fork of Anchor that we've heavily customized, but we're starting to hit the limits of what we can do using this framework. So again, with the goal of developing really fast, it took us quite a while to develop Starbase feature set. If we aren't able to develop that kind of feature set in less than a month, maybe even a week, then we're not going to be able to reach the vision in any time at all. So the part of the goal here with Starframe is to make it much faster for us to develop and much more correct, much less security auditing having to go on. There's a large amount of security stuff we have to go through, but we can toss a lot of that onto the framework. So Starframe is a Anchor replacement framework. The goal that what we're planning to do is it's being developed right now. We're going to start rewriting a couple programs in it, starting with like player profile. Some of the more simple ones are more base level ones, and then leading into new program developments. So like Marketplace v3 will be developed in Starframe at the current timeline, all of that. So that's all going to come out. We're also planning to make this an open source project, which open source is just great for security wise. Security people can come in and take a look and tell you where you went wrong. Great for our community if they want to develop their own stuff. It is a much more complicated framework than Anchor. Like it's meant to be much higher level, and so it's going to be a chunk of work to figure it out. But yeah, it's going to be all public. Everybody can try it out.
Love it. And we've got one final note here to talk about that Ironforge implementation alongside Hello Moon RPC provider. You want to give us a kind of quick rundown of the performance improvements we've seen there, and again, maybe a bit technical for people, but how it's working as well?
Yeah. So initially, we just had a singular RPC provider. At one point during the bad time when Solana was just not doing well, everybody's priority fees were going up high. We swapped in the ability where, if you saw on the console, I bet a few people saw this, where refresh, you'll get one of a random set of RPC providers. The real vision for that was like, okay, we really just want to send it to all of these, and that's what Ironforge has kind of provided for us. So now, if you look in your dev console or anything, you'll see Ironforge is the RPC provider that we're using. And what that is really just an aggregation service that we're able to plug in all of our other great RPC providers in the back end. And then any interaction you do, we'll send it to all of them or a few of them, or we can optimize this out and optimize your RPC calls. And so that's one of the things that's been contributing to Sage performing a lot well as Solana just getting better as well. So with that, we're now seeing like a 98 to 99% success rate versus like before we were seeing like a over 70% drop rate at one point. So we're massively improved there. Yeah, it's been very nice to have. Hello Moon is one of the backing providers as well. They're providing like the priority fee endpoint, kind of determining priority fees dynamically. So more improvements to come there, but it's massively improved the experience, I believe.
And this is the RPC developer resource that we mentioned at the start of the call. Yeah. It's all going to be channeled and flowing through this. I know you guys have done a lot of work as well to ensure that our endpoints are not being exploited by non-Star Atlas related projects. That was a problem for a while, right?
Yeah, we were seeing massive spikes. Every now and then we'd get a call from Hello Moon like, why did you suddenly 2,000 times your traffic? And it'd be somebody doing a margin trading bot somewhere just spamming it like crazy. So with Ironforge, we're able to kind of hide the real RPC behind this. We can make our own RPCs, which is what the build program is. Now we're able to give you the same infrastructure we have, just with your own link, and like we can revoke that if it's abused and all of that. We have much more control. We have much more checking, so we have origin checks and a few others that I'm not going to name just to security reasons. And then so there's a lot more checks that go on around RPCs now to make sure that they're not just being abused and slowing down all of our users, so that some margin bot can get 0.1% better.
We didn't have this on the agenda, but I thought I might just ask you quickly here in closing. Solana's been making a lot of updates and improvements, and curious to get your thoughts on the impact of that for us longer term, and also just the suitability and sustainability of us building this fully on-chain game logic on Solana. It's been a question of the community for some time.
Yeah, I mean, we're on Solana for a reason. Like, the scale of what we do can't really fit in pretty much anywhere else. So Solana is like can actually handle it and do all of that. Even during the bad times of Solana, when we were getting 70% drops, transactions were still going through. So it wasn't like crashed. It was like not a great experience for a while. Now Solana is definitely improved. As I mentioned, we've seen like 98 to 99% success rates. And by success, I mean like transactions are not dropped. When you send it, it gets received and actually displayed or ends up on the blockchain. And a lot of those cases, the 1% can even be attributed to people just closing the browser too soon or something like that. Like, it's such a small amount that it's not usually Solana's fault there. And priority fees have gone down at least 50%. I haven't actually looked at the number now, but I know they're at least 50% down of where they were at the worst of times. And we're going to start adding in more options for users to configure the priority fees, especially because now Solana is performing much better. Maybe reducing the level of like being able to say, okay, I'm okay with a little bit of drops, but I'm going to have my priority, but pay a little less on the priority fees. Or I really want my transaction to go through, so I'm going to whale it and just pay a ridiculously high priority fee. So we've got a few more options coming up on that as well.
Yeah, and the fact that priority fees are actually working now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They weren't working before, and then set it really high, and then someone calls us up and says, "By the way, these don't work."
Yeah. Yeah. Shout out to Brian from our community. I know he was trying to guide our community to not overset their priority fees back when we were all trying to jam transactions through. Brett, really appreciate it, man. Any closing thoughts? Anything you want to share? Thanks for jumping up on stage with us and just sharing this information.
No, I'm really looking forward to the next few sections. Everybody should stick around for those.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right on.
All right.
Okay.
See you guys.
Thank you,
Take care.
Brett.
We'll see you.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, Michael, for being the moderator on that one. Much appreciated. Giving me a little rest. Getting a little bit on the technical aspects with Brett, our head of engineering. But we'll keep moving here, guys. We have 2 more topics to cover, actually. And we'll get into Project Gallia right now, guys. We mentioned that earlier this year, and we're finally going to be bringing to life Gallia. And just as a disclaimer, no art teams have touched this besides the Oni CSS. This is just programmer art, and it's super early work in progress. So just want to get that in.
Fan favorite.
action of these spaces of outward expansion and inward expansion is embodied by Star Atlas. Star Atlas is a new metaverse. It's going to open up the final frontier, the intergalactic frontier. Is an ontological awakening. It's going to allow us to stargate beyond the bounds of the imagination, to literally become starlight. This metaverse will augment our minds and augment our world and finally allow us to show ourselves to ourselves.
Love it, Santi.
Super cool stuff.
Yeah.
Huge.
I just want to mention really quickly, I'm going to hop off stage here for the next guest, but really quickly, there were questions about when this is being released. This is a component of preseason, guys. So this is coming with everything else, with Rose Garden, with the Surge and Shooter gameplay enhancements and Fleet Command. So Santi, take it away. I'm going to go off screen for a
Yes,
bit.
sir.
We'll be back.
Awesome. So we have the main person that has been working on this on stage with us right now, Brad. I don't know if your camera is working. I just gave you permissions to turn that on. Welcome to the stage, my good friend.
Hey. Yeah, my camera doesn't seem to want to turn on.
Camera doesn't seem to. You can drop and rejoin.
Yeah,
Maybe that
yeah.
works. Just leave the stage completely. This is a good moment for me to sing something or whatever. Not gonna happen yet, but yeah, super cool stuff that we see here on the Galia side of things.
That also might mean, Brad, that you have your camera application or used in a different application. Like maybe you were testing it.
Yeah. There we go.
There it goes.
We can now see you, my friend. It's I'm super excited to have you on stage again. I'm pretty sure you joined Townhalls before.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, super cool stuff that you're building, and welcome again to the stage. Oh, we lost your audio, I think.
Oh yeah, I turned it to push to talk. I'm not used to that. I'm just saying I'm
No.
standing as well, so you're not alone.
It's the way, man. It's the way. I don't know if it was the best decision for me on a 2-hour town hall, but here we are, man. It's getting to nighttime at where I am, but we keep going here, man.
Nice.
But yeah, man, it's a pleasure again to have you here. And for the people who don't know what Project Galia is, what is it, and what is that people see right now on the screen? It's been played by Dominic Payne.
Yeah, so in my mind, Project Galia is Star Atlas as far as the Unreal goes. So it's the Star Atlas you imagine, with this big, huge universe and planets and space stations and it's all that. So it's essentially our persistent open world that will be, always online, metagravity enabled. So it's the beginning of our MMO, if you will. Yeah.
Nice.
I've been working with Jose on the lore. So he was super stoked when I told him, we got the green light, we're good to go, we're gonna do this thing. So he got me so for right now we're starting with 2 systems, so Oni 1 and Mud 1. And so he got me all the names of the planets and the moons and all the stations that are there and some backstory to all of them, kind of fleshed it out. So yeah, really cool working with him. So now we're like you mentioned before, environment team has touched nothing. UI has touched nothing. I did that terrible UI. I made that terrible space station, just to have something. But we're really kind of fleshing out the gameplay. So the scale of the planets, how far apart are they? How travel, what does that feel like? How long does it take to get you from A to B? We want it generally to feel faster than a lot of games out there. Like a common complaint in space games is that it takes forever, to get anywhere, and it's boring. You're just sitting there waiting to get where you're going. So we kind of want to avoid that. Kind of make travel times a little faster. So, but yeah, it's coming along. I'm excited.
It's looking really good, man. And so a question that probably everyone has here is, what will we be able to do when playing Project Galia?
So we have prototypes so far, as you can see. Travel, you can't really understate that we're able to fly from space all the way down and land on a planet without any loading screens. There's very few games have actually done that. A notable exception last year was Starfield. Even Bethesda, with all their millions of dollars and hundreds of developers, they opted not to. It was too hard, I guess. So it is kind of a big deal that we have that working. Other things, so here at the end of the video, you can see we'll have a location where you can go to and engage in combat. We'd like to have ship combat. We didn't get it in for this video, but you get here, maybe there's some pirate ships you have to blow up, and then you blow up the turrets, you go inside on foot. So we do want to have combat. Nice to have would be missions for this, where you get something for your trouble. We also had you saw we landed on a planet, and we were able to buy some commodities. I bought some copper ore, and then I flew
Yeah.
to another space station and was able to refine that, submit an order to refine it into copper. Initially, this probably won't be like on chain, so I pulled the data from Sage, so like the prices and what it costs to refine things and how long it takes. That is actually all the same as Sage, but as far as actually getting it on chain, I think we're waiting for StarCon V2 and stuff like that. So initially, it won't be on chain stuff. It'll just be for fun, for playtesting and stuff like that. But yeah,
no,
that's what we got
absolutely.
cooking.
Everyone here is for sure looking forward to this, Brad. Let me tell you that one of the most exciting things going on in the stratless sphere of things right now. But one last question from me, Brad, is how do you see Project Gaia looking like in the future, like 5 years from now?
I can speak for myself. What I would like to see, and what I think is possible. So, like I mentioned, that full blockchain integration will be great, both from like an asset standpoint, so your ships and your currency and all that. But then, as far as progression, so your licenses and that kind of thing will all progress. We'd like to have multiple career loops, so like your trading, your racing, bounty hunting, big game hunting, salvage, repair, those different careers. I'd like to see big like social hubs. So I imagine once like Oni CSS is all fleshed out, and Mud CSS and Ooster CSS, and have these big social hubs with these massive bustling cities with NPCs and players and quest givers and real vibrant space. I'd love to see that. I'd love to see missions, like both handcrafted story missions. I know Danny'd really like that. That's kind of a staple of a traditional MMO, right? There's like a story, and there's missions that progress the story along. A lot of space games don't really have that very much, so I know that's something we want to do. And then as well as like procedurally generated missions, like this station needs X amount of iron or whatever, that kind of thing. But and then multi-crew stuff would also be awesome. I'd love to see like a capital ship manned by a big group of players with different stations. You got your gunners and your engineers and that kind of thing would be fantastic. That's what I would like to have happen. How much is actually on the roadmap in the next 5 years, I can't say for sure, but that's where my mind is anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone agrees, man, on the vision for. Yeah, super excited for Project Gaia, man. You have been cooking, let me tell you that. It's always a pleasure to have you on stage, and we'll have you more times for sure sharing updates on this.
Awesome, yeah, my pleasure. Living the dream.
Some W's in the chat, guys, for Brad.
Brad, amazing work. I think you've been working pretty closely with Chip on this as well.
Yeah.
To me, this is like, I had to hold back when I was going through some of the other roadmap changes, but the fact that we now have deep space exploration, this idea that we can maybe get some missions, you can do in-space battle against NPCs, like, dude, it starts to really feel like an open world MMO with this feature enhancement. So just a recap for everyone, Fleet Command, RTS style gameplay, shooter gunplay with Surge and Surge modes. We've got Rose Garden, Central Space Station, Social Hub, and Commerce District, and now we have Deep Space Travel. These are all of the things that we're building right now and preparing for preseason. And so much more to come. But Brad, great job. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Got it.
Thank you so much. Cool. So yeah, guys, we had Brad on stage with us, and this Townhall doesn't end here. We actually have two more things to cover. One big one and one that we can cover right now, which is, I don't want to say it's a small one, but we can go through it quicker, Michael. But I know you wanted to give some updates on the ship lending side of things.
Yeah, I'm going to go real quick on this one. We've essentially been working through a partnership on the implementation of fleet rentals. To me, this is one of the killer features that we can roll out. I'm very hopeful we get that out this year. Fleet rentals opens up opportunities not only for small players to get in without large capital outlay to be able to start borrowing ships using in the game and then reinvesting their earnings into being able to acquire and own their own NFT assets. I think that's really empowering. Um, we're tossing around the idea of maybe some type of, I'm going to use this term loosely, Dan, don't kill me, ship financing or a pay over time plan. So you can essentially commit to purchasing a ship over a period of time, use your earnings from the game to pay that off. I think, again, very empowering for getting new people into play, expanding their fleets in areas that they need to. I also think that we'll see pretty big interest from more of the call it the investor mentality. And I again use that term very loosely, but these are people that are going to probably go out and buy these ships just because they see the potential in the passive income stream. They'll buy ships, put them on the rental market, let players borrow them, and they earn passive income off of that. And this will finally be our big opportunity to fully deprecate score as well. We're seeing some, you can call it some drop off because a lot of people are very much into that more passive gameplay. And so score is going to go away. You won't be able to earn through score anymore. And instead, it's going to be replaced with something like the fleet rental system. So we actually did just activate earlier this week on Monday the rental process in Sage. So it's actually possible as of right now. We also have an on-chain program developed by a third party that we're working on integrating. And where we're at is essentially just building out the front end for all of this. So that's kind of the bigger lift for the time being. But from a technology standpoint, it's functional, it works. And so we can activate rentals pretty soon as we get that front end built out. So you can either borrow ships yourself or rent them out to other players. I'm really excited about this and about the potential it has for us to expand and see things like scholarship systems open up across Star Atlas.
Yeah, no, absolutely. A lot of people are looking forward to this. And as you pointed out, Michael, not only the quote unquote investor mentality type of people, but also this will provide access for lower income countries to get on the game and start earning playing Star Atlas, basically. So, yeah,
100%.
it's a big one.
It's almost free to play. It's almost free to play at that point. And I'm really thinking about not only all these features that we have and we're rolling out, but coupling things like pixel streaming or the remote rendering and streaming to any device, coupled with a fleet rental system. You can come into Star Atlas and not spend a single dollar up front and start playing. So super excited about that. And I think that's it, Santi. I think we're going to wrap up the town hall here and
yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you all for joining.
Wait, don't leave. Don't leave. That was a
no. It's a joke.
I love to troll.
It's a joke. We have one last topic, and Michael, let me tell you, this is probably a huge topic. This is what we meant when we were starting the town hall, that some people definitely weren't expecting that we'll talk about this today. But it's about the DAO. And we have some big updates related to the DAO, or maybe even more than just updates for today. But Michael, I'll let you take it from here quickly and explain what is going on.
Yeah, well, I mean, certainly unexpected from the community perspective, I would assume. Somewhat unexpected from our own like planning and strategy as well. I do want to give a shout out to Eves here, and I'm shouting out some specific team members. A lot of people are putting in work into everything that's being built. Could not be more appreciative of the entire team, but just a special mention of Eves here. He was able to essentially whip up a version of the DAO that's going to let us get this out sooner than we ever would have thought. I will note this is a bit of a hybrid solution. It won't have all of the bells and whistles that we originally outlined in with all of the on-chain mechanics when we outlined the DAO. Those will be coming, but this is going to give us a version of the DAO that we can play around with very soon. So effectively, you all know that the DAO is the ownership mechanism of the idea of Star Atlas. It's the decentralized autonomous organization that's paired with the Star Atlas Foundation based out of Caymans. And I don't want to get too into details because we have another special guest coming up and joining us, but part of the vision of decentralization, co-creation, co-development of the Star Atlas universe, how do we create a perpetually expanding and evolving product suite? It's through this idea that it can all be co-created by the DAO. And one of the items I'm most proud about is that we've very early on strategically planned around methods of bifurcating revenue streams. So you guys know some revenue from certain sales goes direct to Automata. That's so we can build the game. Some revenue specifically through the game economy goes directly into the DAO, and the DAO has been building up a treasury now since December of 2021, a couple of years. It's collected an enormous amount of Atlas. And it's been collecting USDC as well through that revenue share with marketplace transaction or royalty fees. And so, as I noted, this is going to be a bit of a hybrid initially. It won't have necessarily the discourse integration and ability to communicate on-chain directly on the DAO. Really proud of Santi and Dom, Jose, Arthur for their work that they've put into Discord channels that will allow us to engage in the initial discussions around PIPs, Polis improvement proposals that are going to be coming out. So maybe let me just pause there, Santi. Any thoughts so far?
No, man, I think this is huge. I think people weren't expecting this for sure. But as always, Michael, is there a date for this?
I'm not going to be sharing it. I'm kidding. Actually, am sharing a date on this one, guys. Super excited to say we are rolling this out next Monday. So July 8th, we will be going live with this version of the DAO. We're going to outline and list the first two proposals on Monday. We'll have a 48-hour period for people to review and comment, but we are actually going to be opening up voting on the DAO on Wednesday next week for those first two PIPs. I do want to be clear, the voting process does account for your PvP, your Polis voting power, and it is fully on-chain. Now, where the hybrid solution comes in here is that all of the transactions are naturally recorded on Solana. We take that data, we store that in a Web2 database. So SQL database, I'm pretty sure Yves could correct me if I'm wrong on the actual format of the DB, but nevertheless, this is all fully reconcilable and verifiable with on-chain data based on votes. So let me maybe pause there. Again, really exciting. I think nobody expected this. I didn't even necessarily expect this, but great work from the team and pulling an MVP together for something that we can roll out and start getting that consensus driven decision making pulled together. I'm going to make one final point actually. This is, just to be clear, this is still part of the path to full decentralization, right? What we're doing does require a significant degree of centralization and orchestration for us to bring a product like Star Atlas to market. Consensus by committee will add bureaucracy to decision making. It would slow things down. So as we roll this out, what I want to emphasize is that not all decisions around the game are going to be eligible for PIPs right now. What we're primarily going to be focusing on is that treasury and treasury management. And Dan's going to be getting into a bunch of this, so again, I'll kind of end it there. But the money that is in that DAO treasury is yours if you're a Polis stakeholder. Not our money. We do not have unilateral decision making on what to do with that capital. We've never touched that capital because it's not our decision or our custody to decide what to do with it. And so now we're finally getting to a point where big decisions can be made by the DAO on how to spend the funds, the over $2.5 million that's in the DAO right now. So with that, I will turn it back over to you, Santi, and we can invite our guest up.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Just one thing before we get down on stage here. As you guys know, and as Michael covered, we'll get the DAO, basically the basic functionalities working, including the proposals. But the discourse of things, so the discussions and everything is going to happen in the Star Atlas Discord. So we're going to be launching on Monday together with the DAO site on the govern page, as you guys know it. We're going to be launching a system for how proposals will be working on the Star Atlas Discord. So on Monday, we'll have a new category where everyone will be able to read, but only people with polis staked, locked polis will be able to participate. So PvP holders, polis voting power holders. This category will include 6 channels. So we will have one DAO announcements channel, one information channel, and a stage for the council to discuss. And we will also have 3 forums. So these 3 forums will be PIP ideas, which is made for just discussing an idea you have for a possible PIP, like in a super casual fashion. Then we'll have PIP drafts, where you will be able to submit a draft of a proposal using the formal structure that a PIP should follow. And we'll also have PIP discussion, which is a forum channel as well, for when a proposal is already up on the official govern page. And this will allow the polis holders to discuss before and during the voting phase, basically. If you don't know what a PIP is Policy Improvement Proposal. And we'll cover more about how all this will work in just a second. But as Michael pointed out earlier, not all proposals are going to be valid. And Michael, you may want to clarify that further. I don't know. But not all proposals will be valid, but there's the possibility now, there will be the possibility on Monday to start working on policy improvement proposals.
Yeah, I think as always, we listen to the community feedback. We do take that seriously. Of course, we have our own ideas on how things should be executed, and community feedback is one data point that we leverage when making changes. But initially, we're not really using the DAO to make any economic changes, any gameplay changes, any strategic game development decisions. As a starting point and a step in the right direction of decentralization, the idea really here is to leverage that treasury for important capital decision makings. I think things like funding the hackathon, for example, that's going to take place in Breakpoint would be a great proposal to get a discussion on. Funding some a prize pool for that hackathon, for example. And so this is, one of the areas that I think we can really invest into the ecosystem through the DAO to help it grow. More developers, right? More innovators, more people working on the IP plan. If you want to start a business using Star Atlas IP, you can submit a proposal to request funding, and presumably you would be in some way contributing value back, rev share back into the DAO based on the business that you start. So there's a lot that can take place just with managing that treasury, and that's where we really want to focus attention on the near term.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, guys, there you have it. We have a date. This is all going live on Monday. And the decentralized dream of Star Atlas is actually becoming a reality. It's a major step into that direction. But we will dive deeper now with Dan on the functionalities and how things are going to be working. So Dan, my friend, it's great to have you back on stage, man. How are you doing?
It's good to be back. Thanks so much, Santi. Yeah, really excited to be back on the team and speaking with you all. It's been, I think, pretty close to 2 years since I've been on the stage. I'm pretty sure I was talking about the DAO back then. When I joined the team for the first time in 2021, my big focus was on the DAO, laying the groundwork for how it could operate, how it can really empower players to control the game itself and the game economy. And we started to launch certain aspects of the DAO. We got the Polis Locker going, the governed website, and we started doing some initial planning, put out some papers on how a proposal system might look. But as you know, the team had to focus a little bit, narrow its focus on game development for a period of time. And it's actually quite amazing that the team still found the time to just keep chugging along and bring back to life the DAO proposal system and get this ready for launch. I think it surprised us all. When I rejoined the team, it was a surprise to me too that this was basically ready to go, ready to get some proposals going, and very excited about this launch.
It was there was some speculation out there, Dan, but it was purely coincidental that we were bringing you back in right when all of this started rolling out. Very fortuitous, though.
No, definitely. I fear that I'm getting credit for something that the team has really just done totally on its own. But I'm excited to be here, just kind of help it along. I think there'll be a very like iterative process going forward. There's going to be a lot of kind of improving on how the governance process works. We're going to start very, very simple and then build from there. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure then you have some comments to add to what me and Michael were chatting about before on the DAO side of things.
Yeah, for sure. Something I've noticed, even when I was away from the team, is there's been this kind of feeling throughout the crypto kind of sphere. I see it, when I chat with crypto lawyers too. There's a lot of cynicism, I think, about DAOs and a lot of concern that, especially very complex projects like AAA games, it just takes way too long or it's too much effort to build something like a governance structure that really works and is exciting to participate in. Because you start seeing the DAO participation level starts to drop over time with very complex projects. And Starless is really one of the most ambitious and complex visions out there. So, but and just the very idea, I think, of people engaging in a game, voting on something that affects on a political layer, like all aspects of the entire game experience, everything from how the game is built all the way down to the economy and how it works. There's really nothing else out there like this, and I think it's something that's so unprecedented. People are very skeptical that can ever get done, but the bottom line is that I'm very optimistic. I see on the inside of the team that there's just so much talent here. There's so much energy. I mean, the community is still here and like so supportive. I think it's a complex thing. It takes a lot of time and effort, but the potential for the technology that for Web3 tech to basically enable like a new scale of online interactions, I'm very excited about that. And I think what we're doing starting on Monday is really launching something that's foundational, kind of a very base layer, simple solution for the DAO. But from that, you'll see we can continually release new pips, improve on the process and how proposals are submitted and how they're evaluated and then voted on, and how they're implemented increasingly in a more like autonomous fashion. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and we'll do this all in the open and all together just starting on Monday.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes, man. I know it for us, for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, so I think what we're going to see on Monday, don't want to spoil too much, but there will be a lot coming out. You'll have a couple days to evaluate it and give some feedback. We can make some changes as necessary, but really we want to get the show going so people can start drafting their own pips and submitting them, getting them evaluated in the open. Will help with that process. I'll be very active in the new governance section of the Discord, and we'll just start getting some proposals and voting going.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's actually super exciting. And also, I think we'll be covering this all in more in depth later, probably on Monday. But we're launching the DAO with some pips, right? Could you briefly explain what is going to be there?
Yes. So there will be 4 pips that you'll see at the outset. There'll be many more to come after that, but these initial 4 pips will basically lay the groundwork for what's to come. Pip 1 is, some of you might recall in some earlier discussions about the DAO, we were going to have a separate Star Atlas constitution, and that may be something that's down the road for us eventually that we draft and ratify together. But Pip 1 essentially lays the groundwork for how proposals work and how the DAO operates and how it votes in general. So you'll see in there how to submit a pip and how to debate it and revise it based on feedback from the community, and then how it's eventually submitted and then voted on by Polis voters. And Polis voters meaning those who lock Polis in the governance protocol and have PvP as a result. That's Pip 1 in a nutshell. Pip 2 ratifies the operations of the Star Atlas Foundation, which is a Cayman entity that basically has the sole purpose of supporting the Star Atlas DAO. Its operations basically are very lean at the moment, but they will build out over time as it delegates additional authorities to help with the governance processes in general. And then PIP 3 is maybe one of the more exciting things we'll be revealing on Monday, which is that council elections are coming up. So it's going to approve the process by which the Star Atlas Council will be formed. We'll be taking basically looking for nominations from within the community. Campaigns will start immediately thereafter, and the goal is to establish a council, an initial council of 5 members who are going to basically play an incredibly critical role in managing the governance process. They're going to be directly helping with the drafting of PIPs, kind of reviewing and managing the PIP process among the community. They'll have an active role in the governance Discord here. And I think probably the most important thing is they'll be setting the precedent for all the councils to come. So they will help define the rules of how the council operates. They might, based on their feedback, they'll help us to determine, is the council the right size? Is it the right, does it have the right powers? And, is there any way we can improve on the PIP processes? So it's going to be very exciting, I think, to see these first elections happen. And this is all happening in the coming weeks. Yeah.
We'll have debates, events, everything. Like, I want to see people to start campaigning for this so bad. It's going to be so exciting, man.
It'll be a lot of fun. Yeah. Maybe we can do live debates. Hopefully everybody will be fully awake and alert for them. But yeah, it'll be fun. So PIP 4 is the final PIP you'll see on Monday. This is going to create the Star Atlas Ecosystem Fund. So we're going to take a portion of the treasury. So currently the Star Atlas DAO has access to about the equivalent of around $2 million worth of assets, mostly Atlas and USDC. And the idea being that it'll carve out a certain amount of that to be used exclusively for ecosystem growth. So you'll see in that PIP 4 the process that if you're a community builder or just an active member of the community, if you need funding to get something done, you can submit a proposal and seek funding directly through that ecosystem fund. And this can cover anything from developing something, some software development, or funding for your front end, all the way to something more like a community meetup or hosting activities or contests, things like that. So the mandate is very broad when it comes to PIP 4. So that's in a nutshell.
Yeah, I think PIP 4 is one of the most exciting ones. Everything here, honestly, is pretty exciting, but PIP 4 actually will allow us to start nurturing a bit more the Star Atlas ecosystem, the community, the people who are building here. They will be able to get that funding that could bootstrap one of the cool projects that are out there, and combine that with the free RPC calls that we will be offering through Build. This is really a huge moment for the Star Atlas ecosystem as a whole. So yeah, really looking forward to that one.
Yeah, I think I'm hoping we'll see a large variety of things. I mean, we've already seen so much energy in the community in terms of building Star Atlas, mini games. I know it was Rado Doom's birthday today. Happy birthday. But I remember he made one of the early little mini games just for fun. Those are the sorts of projects that we're hoping to see, flourish and start being developed more and more throughout Star Atlas. So
that's
the goal. Yeah, 2-foot attack. That's right. So yeah. So this has been, for me, it feels like a very long journey, kind of joining Star Atlas in 2021, and really the most exciting thing to me from my perspective as a lawyer is here's this crazy idea for governance. How do you govern players governing their own game is a kind of wild idea, and I think it feels in some ways like I've come full circle, and it's coming here we are. We finally built it, but this is also kind of just a very early first step, and I think it's going to be a long and very kind of exciting journey, and we're just doing it together, so it should be fun.
It's a small but big step towards the decentralized dream that we all want for Star Atlas. So yeah, it's good that is happening actually on Monday. So guys, I know again we covered a lot on this segment for the DAO, but do not worry. The secret event that you see, Dom, maybe you can post that in the chat now. There's a quote-unquote secret event that you now know what that is, but that's the DAO launch event. We'll be there with Dan, Jose, Dom, and we'll be covering more in depth every single pip, how things are going to work. In the beginning, the community team and Dan will be acting as counsel until the elections take place for the council members. So that's important. We'll be covering how all that is going to work and how a proposal has its own life cycle as well, and how you guys can get your pips through that and make it work. And yeah, make sure to mark us interested to that event for Monday. We also have a Medium article coming that will explain basically all this also in more detail, so you can digest that on your own time and when you have a chance to read it. So that is coming very soon as well. And yeah, I think we managed to cover everything on the DAO side of things. Michael, any comments that you would like to add?
No, I think it's a huge step, like you said, small but massive at the same time. So this is, I hope people realize that it's going to be a big responsibility as well. I mean, you guys are helping to make key decisions now about the future and how to grow the ecosystem. To me, that's one of the most compelling components of what we're doing here is this ability to create an environment for co-creation. And I think DAO and the DAO Treasury specifically facilitates that. So we've seen a ton of interest in the IP program. I think I noted it was like 63 applications for the IP program. That was back at the last Breakpoint. I don't even know where we are today, but just I'm imagining what the world looks like when people can request funding from the DAO to start an organization and then find a way to return revenue share back into the DAO. So you can have this entity or this, non-registered entity, the DAO itself, have myriad cash flows and revenue streams from innovators, creators, builders, entrepreneurs all over the world. It's really incredible. And then what the DAO does with that in the long term is like, who knows, but massive, massive potential. So really exciting to be taking this step. It's kind of scary, if I'm being honest. We've wanted to do it forever, but like now it's actually here. A little bit scary, but really exciting. And Dan, as much as I give you a hard time, we missed you when you were gone. We're so grateful to have you back. Really appreciate it, man. Great job up here today.
Oh, thank you. It's great being back, and I think it's been such a heartwarming thing to have to be welcomed back by the community too. It's a lot of fun. Here we are.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Michael, I don't know how you want to roll this. We are at the 2 hours and a half mark, so I feel like it's probably good to close here. But we covered a bunch of things today, man. Insane amount.
We did.
So,
I would take one question if you want to take one question. Risky.
Sure.
Raise your hand if you
If
want to.
anyone has one question, raise your hand. We'll let you on stage.
All right, and I don't want these multi-part questions. They're like 5 questions under the guise of one.
We'll see if there's any. I don't see any hands raised yet. I feel like we've been clear with everything. Oh yeah.
No, we're not bringing Signal up. He's had way too much time on his hands recently. So
okay, we have Genfall on stage. How are you, my friend?
Hi, am I here now? Can I be here? Yeah. Okay. I have just a quick question about the with the DAO rolling up. I have some compromised account on the last pass incident a year and a half ago, and I have a bunch of police like locked in an account that is gonna be compromised soon when the vaults are cracked. So, is there any plan to support any federation voting power now that the DAO is gonna be operational?
Yeah, well, there is a plan. Probably a better question for Brett. And just for the purposes of the town hall, let's try to take that one offline with you and get that resolved. But his question is essentially, are you going to be able to redelegate PvP from or Polis that's locked from a wallet that you've previously used if you need to transfer that to a new key? I believe our profile system and Star Atlas account architecture is going to resolve that. I'm not sure specifically where we are. Brett, if he's in the audience, can maybe give you a good response.
Yeah, okay, I will check that with him, and thank you very much. Congrats.
Awesome. Thank
you, my friend. We'll get Drum Carlos here, OG.
Yeah.
He has a question.
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Clear.
How are you doing, my friend?
Good, great. Excited. A lot of good news. Hey, I've had a question about the player profile because, some of us manage a few accounts and there's been talks about player profile. There's crew coming soon. There's going to be multiplayer coming soon. There's been a lot of talks of all the stuff coming, but I'm a little more worried about the player profiles because I think this is very important, especially if the lending platform is being created now.
What specifically is the
so when is player profiles coming and all that functionality being planned? Is it for this year?
Brett can probably give us another comment on that one. I think maybe a Q4 thing, maybe. You've seen, so profile architecture is working. You're seeing the earliest implementations of profile working in Sage right now, where you can kind of delegate those permissions to various wallets. You can have that hot wallet, cold wallet set up so that you can auto approve transactions through that hot wallet. Brett just noted here, Marketplace v3 is going to support it, and it's just going to be added to various products over time. I think specifically what you want to know is when do you have that dashboard that lets you oversee all of your different accounts, all of their permissions, and assign permissions out? Is that what you're asking?
Correct. That is correct.
Yeah. So I mean, it does. Just based on Brett's response here, we're probably looking at like Q4, Q1, depending on the product line, where this is going to start to be built out.
You guys are killing it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, friend. Cool. So I think, Michael, it's probably now a good time to close. If people have questions on governance-related topics or anything developer-related, we have 2 events coming. The one on Monday, the secret event, is the DAO launch. We'll be there with Dan and the community team, basically just trying to reply to all the questions related to how that's going to work moving forward. And if you have questions about the RPC, the free RPC calls and the developer program, and also about the hackathon, we have a developer hour coming soon as well. So make sure to join those events, and as always, all the brews on Wednesdays. But yeah, Michael, that covers everything, I think. Any closing thoughts here?
I think it was a great town hall. I think, like you said, we covered a lot. We got some econ in there. We talked about Breakpoint again. Guys, please let us know if you're interested in attending, in participating, in displaying your DAC, or otherwise just showing up, maybe having a presentation. We're thinking about guild presentations on stage. So we do expect this to be a massive event. Please let us know as soon as possible if you want to attend and how we can get you involved so we can work that into our planning. We covered vision of the roadmap and the products that we're rolling out. We talked a little bit about crew packs. Stay tuned. This DAO announcement was what I was referring to. I said I don't want to overshadow a big announcement today, so stay tuned. We'll have an announcement for the crew pack release date relatively soon. Stoked that we have all of the art that will be completed and included. I think that's massive. With no placeholder art, got into the DAO. And of course, Brad up here with Project Galileo, I think was an amazing experience. Deep space travel. We're a real space MMO now. So I thought it was awesome. Really great. Santi, as always, thank you for being the marvelous co-host with me here. Dom, thanks for running through the technical production, showing everything off. Guys, yeah, and everyone, thanks for attending so much. It was long overdue, I think, but I think this was a great one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. And we will have a summary being posted on everything Townhall related soon. And just wanted to close here with a shout out to the community, all the content creators that keep putting things out there, all the cool projects that keep popping from the community, like the Super Phoenix DAO, like Atlas Mission Run by PG, the Puna Bazaar. We always keep see things coming from the community. Evi, the Shadow Loyal, you guys absolutely crushing it. It's impossible for me to shout out every single person here, so I'm missing a few, not only a few, but a lot. But thank you guys to everyone that has been supporting. Hopefully the DAO with the ecosystem fund will be able to accelerate things for everyone that is trying to build on top of Star Atlas. So you have our full support and keep crushing it. And yeah, we'll see you on Monday with the DAO release.
Final shout out to Ghost here, just because he never gets a shout out.
Yeah.
All right,
Cool.
guys.
All
Thanks
right,
so
everyone.
much. Have a great weekend. We in the US we do have the holiday. A lot of the team will be out for the 4th and the 5th through the weekend, but another exciting week kicking off next Monday. So thanks so much, everyone. Take care. Power to the people.
See you on the next one. Bye bye. Stick it to the man.